Hi everybody, it's me Andy Glassman, and I'm here to give you a quick overview of our next Greater Milwaukee Java Meetup. It's going to be on Thursday, August 31st at 6 p.m., 6 to 8 p.m. at Hudson Business Lounge. Feel free to come ahead of time around 5. We're going to do a little happy hour there. They have a cafe that has coffee and beer if you'd like to stop in. Otherwise, the main event starts from 6 to 6:30 with a little bit of networking built in there. And then the main content will be from 6:30 to 7:30 or 8, depending on how in-depth we get. So, I'd also like to thank our sponsors, SafeNet, McGregor Partners, which is a new sponsor at our Giga level, Digital Measures, and Pivotal. So big thanks to all our sponsors who help make this meetup possible with meetup fees and also prizes for events and books and different cool things like that. So thanks to them. So the main thing I want to go over right now is just what is Kotlin. So Kotlin, I like to think of it as what are all the things that annoy you in Java? Well, Kotlin fixes a lot of those. And it also gives you a ton of other cool things as well, such as being able to target not just the JVM, but also JavaScript and even native. It will even compile to native code. So what are some things that would annoy you in Java that Kotlin can remedy? Well, one thing right out of the box that I liked was the ability to template strings much easier than you can in plain Java using string.format. So you can see here in this little example that you can use the $ and you can evaluate variables right in your strings. You can also put in variable evaluations and even arbitrary expression evaluations. So I know I found myself doing this a lot where you want to just say like variable dot length for this, in this case it's probably collection or something, or string, and you don't want to have to use the formatter to pass in all these different arguments. Well, you can do that now, and it's really helpful. Another thing that I think is really awesome is you can do the type of HereDoc type syntax where you can do multi-line strings without having to do the plus and then another concatenating string after string. So this makes your strings much more readable, and just out of the box, Kotlin is heads and tails above Java in manipulating these strings. Another big problem in Java is you're always checking for null. And Kotlin, one of the main features that they promote is null safety. So what does that mean? Well, basically, in this case, we have a variable is a type of string, and we're assigning it to ABC. If you try to assign it to null, this will actually be a compile error. It will never get to runtime, so you don't have to worry about variable A ever being null. But in some cases, maybe you do want to allow a variable to be null. Well, rather than defaulting to having every variable be nullable like you can in Java, Kotlin actually gives you this question mark syntax which says, I'm going to allow this variable to be nullable. And now you can assign null to it. So this makes who's ever reading your code or whoever is using your library be much more safe for them to use these things because it's explicit rather than having to check everything. Another thing that you will like, which I like, is you don't have to do these verbose null checks. So previously you've probably seen a lot of code where you check one level of the object to see if it's null, and then if that's safe, then you'll go to the next level and see if that's safe. Well, you don't have to do that anymore. Now you can just use these safe null calls, such as b dot length. Now this will result in, it'll return length if b is not null. But if b is null, it'll just return null. So now you don't have to have those long if statements where you're constantly checking for null. So here's an example. We want to, this probably isn't great programming practice if you find yourself doing this, but if you want to get name off of bob.department.head, you don't have to have 3 null checks in there. You can just say bob .department .head .name, and now this will never throw a null pointer exception, which is pretty awesome. The last quick thing I wanted to go over to just give you a taste of why Kotlin is nicer than Java in a lot of respects is, have you ever found yourself doing something like this with an exception? Well, let me see if I can find the example here. They don't have a very good example. Oh, here it is. So a try catch, sometimes you'll assign a variable above here, and if it works, you'll assign it here, and if it doesn't work, you'll assign something else here. Well, now you don't have to do that anymore. You can actually have your try catch evaluate to an expression, or evaluate to a return value. So here they're parsing an int, and you can see they don't even have to put return or assign anything in here. And then in the catch expression, they just return null. So if they get a null format exception or a number format exception, it'll return null. And then this whole thing, this whole try catch is an expression, and that gets assigned to the variable a. So no more do you have to say value a equals null, and then go through the try catch and assign it, and then at the end it's all good. It's all bundled into one expression now, which I think is pretty nifty. So that's just a quick overview of 3 things that I liked, and pretty much everything that I've looked at in Kotlin I've liked, so I think there'll be plenty for us to talk about on Thursday. So we'll go over the basic language features, also targeting JVM versus Android and or JavaScript, and kind of the flexibility that gives you when you're building things, and also how can you interop with Java and existing frameworks. So I'll give a quick web example of using Spring Boot for a web app that actually calls into Kotlin, and in reverse, Kotlin calling into Java. So I think this will be a really exciting one and get to see some cool features of Kotlin. So I hope you all will join me on Thursday, August 31st at Hudson. So see you then. Thanks.